Major news involving the Georgia case against Donald Trump's many indicted co-conspirators, because we are seeing the wheels of justice turn. And if you've been living through this in America and you followed, say, the case in New York, which is mostly just about Donald Trump's business history and perhaps some of his potential campaign finance shenanigans, or the case in federal courts in Washington, which involved Donald Trump and one or two other people, well, now we're seeing the wheels of justice grind in a very different way. It is, and I say this with all seriousness, not news hyperbole, it is unlike any criminal justice proceeding we have seen for a group or alleged gang of racketeering influenced people to ever come out of any White House. One by one, they are today turning themselves into the Fulton County Jail. Trump himself, the defendant atop the alleged RICO conspiracy, scheduled to turn himself in on Thursday, where he faces a bond. Today, Trump's coup lawyer, John Eastman, went in there, turned himself into authorities. This is some of the footage of him just outside that courthouse. He is out on a $100,000 bond. The other Trump co-defendant to turn himself in is an individual that may be less well known, but again, according to the DA, this is an alleged RICO gang that you're looking at. That means the acts of one are the responsibility of all. That is the case. That is tough to beat. If they beat it, we'll announce they beat it. But if they don't, this is an alleged gang. And so one of the individuals is named Scott Hall. He's accused of a very specific act, breaking into voting machines. Now, 2 of the 19 have now surrendered. So most of the people who are in this alleged RICO conspiracy on your screen have yet to do so. Others have agreed to their bonds. This jail is open 24/7. That means these co-defendants could come in at any time. The official deadline set by the DA is Friday. We have a little more on that and how she's not moving off her deadline for anyone, whether they worked at the White House or not. We'll get to that later. But the big news today is seeing someone who you might remember from the January 6th committee hearings or our special reports, because we have had our eye on him for a long time. And the reason is because he incriminated himself a lot. He upped his criminal legal exposure. He wrote down plans for a coup. I'm talking about Trump lawyer John Eastman. Indeed, before I show you him in court today, I want to remind you we actually just had his lawyer here discussing these charges last night on The Beat. If you can tell us who's paying you for Mr. Eastman's counsel.
I could never, with any client, I could never get into who's paying the bills and all that sort of, that's privileged, obviously.
Fact check, legally true. Lawyers have confidentiality, they have certain privileged items, and that can include the nature of the preparation of defense, who's funding it and what the plans are at trial. And that's fine. Our system generally says that is fair because they're going up against the government. In this case, they're going up against the powers of Georgia police and prosecutors and all of the evidence they've gathered. And so they, criminal defense attorneys and their clients, can stay quiet, just like as we've discussed, and you've seen it a million times, everyone has a right to silence under our system. Now, that is context for what just happened today. And I didn't know last night when I spoke to Mr. Eastman's lawyer that this would happen today, but John Eastman chose today to turn himself in. Our NBC News camera crews that are following all of this caught up with him as he was leaving the courthouse, and our reporters asked him some questions. So it was going to be interesting to see what, if anything, the defendant might have to say.
Do you still think the election was stolen?
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Still?
No question. No question in my mind.
And you won't answer on immunity from prosecution?
Won't answer that.
Do you think that the others in this case have a standing on that, people like Meadows?
No comment.
Did they do a mugshot and everything inside?
No comment.
Who's paying your legal fees?
I am.
You saw some of the questions there from multiple reporters, including our NBC colleague Ali Vitali. And while Mr. Eastman, like his lawyer, did duck some answers, which he's allowed to, he also started revealing things, including confirming that he is paying his own legal fees, meaning Donald Trump and his PACs are not, which adds information that his own lawyer didn't want to reveal last night. Mr. Eastman, who has broke so many rules, I mean, he's facing disbarment, and while legally presumed innocent, he certainly broke some rules, if not laws, leading up to this case. He's also, I can tell you tonight, broken the rule explained by the artist Pop Smoke. Certain things ain't never going to change. Never speak to them guys without your lawyer, because they're given more time. A lot of people can't handle the pain. More time. Mr. Eastman proved to be the kind of lawyer who's facing disbarment in his own charges, who needs his own lawyer. And now he has given up some parts of that advice from Pop Smoke and other legal experts. Don't talk to those guys without your lawyer, especially when you don't have your whole defense worked out. I want to bring in the former RNC chair and an MSNBC analyst, Michael Steele, who knows a lot about politics, hardball politics, but also, Michael, the line where politics can turn into crime. I mentioned this is a RICO case unlike anything we've seen. You have to go back to Nixon to look at that period. And so you may or may not weigh in on Mr. Eastman's approach to share more than his lawyer wanted him to, talking without the lawyer present, as well as what it means for us to, as I said, see a process we've never seen before, treating these people as an alleged gang, legally presumed innocent, but the charges are that they're a RICO gang, and bringing them in one by one this week.
Yeah, the first thing out of the box is, every answer should be no comment, even if it's an easy throwaway answer. Certainly, you don't want to, answer a question, oh, do you believe the election was stolen, when that's kind of feeds into the narrative of why you in the situation in the first place. It just, it is the arrogance in not just belief, but in thinking that they can beat this system. But what the prosecution in Georgia is showing, and certainly what Jack Smith is showing and what we're seeing elsewhere, is the level of seriousness with which this is being taken, and that the veneer of being a former president, being former counsel to the president, to being an advisor to the president, to having worked in the White House. Thankfully, all of that is melting away, Ari, because for me, from the very beginning, the moment this whole thing began, that gift that was given to you by the American people to be president, to be a counselor to the White House, to the president, you began to throw that away, to strip it bare from yourself, and to throw it in the trash. And so you don't now claw back that protection. You don't claw back that, that title to cover yourself. And so the prosecutors are showing, we're not going to allow you to do that.